Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the match preview for Everton versus Brighton. Coming up on the 2nd of January, or at least we hope it is. Of course, this is coming off the back of plenty of postponements. We've now had 3 games postponed since we last played at Chelsea on the 16th of December, so there'll have been over 2 weeks without any Everton games. I mean, given the way the season's gone, that might not have been the worst thing, but I think we're all for the games to come back now. I think we've got Brighton, hopefully, on Sunday. I'm joined by James Pendleton from the Babbling Blues. We're going to be previewing this game. How are you feeling going into this one, James? It's not really much of a form book anymore for us, but that might be a good thing. Maybe a bit of pressure off us.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, obviously we've not played for ages. I mean, I mentioned it to Connor when I spoke to him after the Chelsea game. I was in the cinema when that game was on. I think a lot of people were, to be fair, watching Spider-Man. So I haven't watched us play a game since Palace on the 13th, I think. So that's like we're going on 3 weeks by the time it comes around, which is just lovely, especially when you watch all the chaos around us unfold. The teams in and around us, I think obviously Burnley, they've kicked the ball in about 2 months. Norwich have lost it constantly. Newcastle I think they got a point the other night, didn't they? But generally they've been losing. So I'm feeling confident because all the results have been going our way, as sad as that is to say. We really should just be pulling away from the bottom sort of 3 places now. I think Brighton have only won 1 of 13. A lot of draws in there. They got a really good result last night, which lost me on my bet, which I was fuming about. But a lot of late goals as well. I think they only lost 1 away game this season. So they're a really tricky team to look into. But no Lamptey, I don't think, and no Basuma. I could be wrong on that, but sure I saw that on Twitter.
That's right,
before,
that's right. There's a couple of knocks here and there.
Okay, cool. So we beat them earlier on the season. Basuma went off injured, I believe. I think that's correct. And they had no Lamptey, obviously, then. And they were pretty poor, I thought, and they're easily their 2 best players. Calvert-Lewin should be back, who definitely in the squad, you'd imagine. Definitely Mina's going to be involved, nor Richarlison, but be a huge lift having him back. The results against Chelsea now was a few weeks ago now, but that should give us a lot of confidence. You like to think Jared Bramthwaite's going to be back in the squad. Luca Dean, hopefully. We'll see what happens there. So, yeah, I think this should be a game Everton needs to be winning, really. I know Brighton have only lost 1 away game this season, as I say, but they're drawing a lot of games, a lot of late goals, and I just think this should be the kind of game we're putting to bed, I think. And if we're to win this, then we need to then start looking up rather than down again, obviously with some new signs coming in and stuff. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I think it's nice we've not played for a few weeks as well, which is nice at this sort of stage of the season.
Yeah, you mentioned there like they've got a few absentees. Let's discuss our personnel because who knows what we're gonna put out? Who knows who's gonna be fit? Who's got COVID? Who's not got COVID? Who's gonna be injured?
Yeah, it's an absolute clown show, isn't it? Or a circus, I think people would call it. It's been bizarre because teams are going into games with really weakened squads. You've got managers complaining, and then Chelsea put out a team last night. I think Kante was on the bench, and all these other big names that they're not even getting in their squads, and they're whinging. It's been
bizarre, isn't
really,
it?
It's been so strange to watch. And then you got managers like that, him and Ragnick and Klopp. I think the sort of European fellas who've come over and they're whinging and they're not using the subs they have got, and it's been a real circus to watch. And Everton not being in the centre of it's been quite nice, but. Yeah, I think Damari Gray should be back, shouldn't he? I think that's what Bobble said last night. Alan obviously was in the squad for Chelsea, wasn't he? So you'd like to think he'd be back in as well. I'd say Mina doesn't look like he's going to be playing. So it does just depend, though, because obviously some of these lads could get COVID before the game kicks off. And I don't know what the Premier League are going to keep their on-day testing. And then the Championship has scrapped it, haven't they? So it's almost futile because you're thinking, well, Calvert-Lewin's going to be back. Gray should be back. Alan should be back. Decore will be playing, hopefully. Godfrey, Keane, all these starters that we normally have. You just can't really count them at the minute, can you? So it is interesting, but I think it looks like on paper we'll have quite a strong team. I hope Brighton are still lacking Duncan Duffy. That'd be a real plus for us as well, with no Basuma, no Lamptey. So I think the only worry for us really is whether they want to get the game called off like Newcastle did.
Yeah, I think that's a blow for us actually to have missed the Newcastle game because probably by the time we play them again, they'll have brought a load of players.
Yeah, maybe Coutinho will be playing for them by the time it comes around to it.
Rather be them than us, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a massive shame, wasn't it? Because there was no Wilson and no, what's his name, Alan Saint-Maximin. So that would have been really nice because they're their two best players are they're two good players they've got really, aren't they? Like I know Joe Linton's turned into like the best box-to-box midfielder we've ever seen overnight for somehow, but that would have been a great game to have played tonight. Give us a bit of confidence. Hopefully, going into the Brighton game would have probably felt it even a little bit better. But no, I think we should still be okay. I think we've got enough firepower and we should be able to deal with them on the 2nd of Jan.
Yeah, I think we just got to, like you say, hope that more people are returning and nobody else falls ill or picks up a knock, because that's been the story of the season so far for us. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of negativity, but there's been a lot of injuries and a lot of bad luck in that respect.
The injuries that's like nothing I've ever seen. Everton's injury luck, whether it's even luck anymore, I don't know. Obviously Dan Donachie's left the medical department. Whether that's going to make a difference or not, I'm not sure. But it's the injuries are just nothing I've ever seen, because Gomez has been out, Delph's been out, Alan, Decore, Cavalier, Richarlison, Godfrey, Pickford. You can pick any member of our team's been out, and it's absolutely insane. We don't help ourselves by loading out our only other left back, not signing a right back, having so few players of any level of versatility. And Josh Towns has been playing centre mid, which has been a disaster as far as I'm concerned. His form's absolutely nosedive since he's gone into that position. The striker scenario has been a mess. It's just been remarkable. And the fact that it's one of them, isn't it? Because you say on one hand to Benitez, he's done well to pick up some of the points, but at the end of the day, most of our points came at the start of the season, didn't they? When we had I think we had, 4 wins, a draw and a loss in the first 6, and that's about half our point, isn't it, really? Maybe a little bit more, 60% maybe. So he's lost some really, really silly games and he shouldn't have done. There's a couple of excusable ones in there, as we mentioned, but this is a game where if it all goes ahead like it looks like it will, with Gray and Decore and Alan and Cavalier and everyone being back mainly, then we should be okay. And it's a game we go in as heavy favourite, I'd suggest.
Yeah, well, hopefully, like you say, I think if we have more personnel back, we stand a chance of hopefully getting a better run of form like we did earlier in the season. But in terms of personnel, what can you expect then? What do you think the starting 11 is going to be?
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that as well, because Benitez has said that all along, hasn't he? That the second half of the season is going to be where we really kick in. And it's interesting as well, before going on to the question, is that just his Newcastle teams, there's Connor, his Newcastle teams always seem to come into their own in the second half of the season. They'd really pull away. They'd be right at the bottom whole the first half of the season, and then they'd get a couple of signings in. He'd work with the kinks in the team, and they'd pull well clear. So that's what I hope we can do. But in terms of the team, I'd probably guess obviously Pickford. Coleman would be good because he's had a long rest now, which is good for him at his age. I said to Connor that I think when he doesn't play for a few weeks, he's always much better. I don't know, centre-half wise, though. I reckon it probably will be Godfrey at left back. I'd be surprised if he brings Dean back in. And then I'd stick Branthwaite in. I'd keep Branthwaite and Michael Keane in centre-half. I'd go for Damari Gray, Anthony Gordon. I'd probably then say Decore and Alan, Townsend and Calvert-Lewin. I'd throw him straight in because apparently he was meant to be in the Burnley squad. Then obviously you'd think he'd...
Is Townsend back to fitness again? Because he picked up an off when Richarlison did as well.
He did actually, yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that one. That's what I mean. It's strange because I'm not sure. It's one of those things where they say it's 2 to 3 weeks. Certainly for Richarlison, it's 2 to 3 weeks. So whether he can come back in or not, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see whether he wants to put Ellis Sims back in again, or whether he wants to put the third man in midfield, Andre Gomez again. I'm not sure. I think that sort of last central midfield position is probably up for debate because it could be a striker, it could be a centre mid, it could be a winger like Townsend coming in and playing more centrally. But yeah, I think in that case, then I'd probably just stick another centre mid. I'd probably book Andre Gomez in centre mid, and then I'd just launch Calvert-Lewin in. I think he's meant to be back for Burnley, as I said. He probably would have started tonight. I know he's not quite got the match fitness, but get him in for 55 minutes, an hour, and then bring Ellis Sims on is what I'd suggest anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see. I'd like to think that he'll keep the youngsters in and around the team, even if we do have a few of the absentees returning.
Yeah, the youngsters did so well for us, didn't they? And that's why I've been crying out for Jared Branthwaite for the last few weeks. I think tall, quick, good on the ball, left-footed, opens up the pitch for us. I think the fact that he's not been given a chance is quite strange. I'd I'd love to see Ellis Sims get a go. I like the look of him. I think he looked all right from the sort of hour-long highlight package I watched from the Chelsea game. I think he held the ball up relatively well. He played against the top centre-half and Lewis Dunk. If not, then he's going to be up against Dan Burn, who's a big lad, and Joel Veltman as well, who I think is relatively average. If the other two centre-halves aren't fit, I'm not sure what their situation is with Brighton, but I'd be more than happy to see him come back in. I don't think any of us want to see Salomon Rondon, do we?
No, nobody does.
I'm not sure Benitez wants to see him, but it's like, I think just if it ends up having to be Salomon Rondon and just put Ellis Sims in, absolutely, that would be my situation. Whether they say, well, whatever lad they've got a centre half, they have a big bustling centre halves and Duffy, Duncan, Webster as well, Dan Burn, all big lads. So whether they just say, look, just last Calvert-Lewin up there, maybe put Ellis Sims alongside him. If for a change, he's going to have options, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does with those options, because for a long time he has been working off the same sort of 12, 13 players, hasn't he? So it'd be interesting to see what he cooks up in the second half of the season, because what he did in the first half mostly stunk. So let's see, eh?
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Going to head to the game, then predictions.
Well, I'm
going to. You don't know who's going to play, innit?
Yeah, it's impossible. It's like I'm going a bit Mark Lawrence on this, because I must have said we probably win every single game since I've been on here, or draw the odd one, maybe lose a derby or two. But I'll go for 1-1, because I just think Brighton, as I say, they got a last-minute result against Southampton, West Ham. Got one at Palace earlier in the season, Chelsea the other night. They do love a late goal. They keep going right till the end. And because they create so many chances, I do just think they're going to get one in eventually, especially against the way we've been playing most of the season. So I'd go for a draw, but I think that would be a disappointing result for us, considering we've not played for best part of 3 weeks now.
Yeah, will be, but I'm actually inclined to agree. I was actually going to go with a 1-1 myself. So once again,
I just think, as I say, I just think like because we are quite porous at the back, we're going to concede chances against these. We shut them out really well at the Amex, but I just think again, it's so hard to say, because I don't know. We could have our best 11 out, other than probably Dean, is what I imagine we could get to, or we could have a team which ends up having 3 or 4 makeshift players in, which isn't ideal. But I just think definitely got no Bazuma, definitely got no Lamptey. It's a big opportunity, and we should be getting by these, I think.
Well, it's Everton, you never know what's going to happen. We said it's on pretty much every show to expect the unexpected. We're both expecting a 1-1 draw. What are you guys expecting at home? Let us know your predictions going into this game. Drop us a comment. Yeah, let us know how you're feeling ahead of, hopefully, the end of our over 2-week Everton absence. I mean, it's been a very, let's say, sparse festive period as far as fixtures are concerned. I mean, I'm sure if you offered that to Jurgen and Thomas and Pep, I'm sure they'd all like bite your hand off for that. But
well, I mean, even Klopp was whinging the other day that Leicester had a big game a couple of days before, hadn't he? So after they got beat, so you never know him, do you? Absolute weirdo.
Who knows what's best? But nonetheless, hopefully, an Everton fixture to look ahead to in a couple of days. Like I say, guys, let us know your opinions and your predictions. Drop us a comment, give this video a like, subscribe for more content. And once again, guys, thanks for getting us to 10,000 subscribers. We are absolutely thrilled. Thank you so much for your loyalty and sticking with the channel, sticking with the club as well in a tough period as well. So, it just shows what many fans Evertonians are, and for we stick the club through thick and thin, and it's going to be fingers crossed for a better second half of the season. And like I say, thanks for tuning in on the Toffee Blues, and we'll see you next time.